Another thing, Justin, is the fact that my son is Haitian. You know, Usher's Haitian, my son's Haitian, and that's blood. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't you're not to be tampering with other people's blood or other people's blood money. You don't tamper like that. Yeah, I can't have you going online and then trying to use the idea of a Haitian child that came from Canada. I can't have you walking around in California or walking around in Canada pretending to be like my Haitian child. That's very disrespectful. That's racism. That's discrimination. That's not your idea. You can't play God in people's life like that. That's actually a form of identity theft. Like actually trying to walk around and be a 5-year-old child that came from a different culture. That's a little too vulturous, don't you think? Justin, you're not virtuous. you're you're a vulture. I'm just saying this is just a little bit disturbing. I'm being honest with you. That's the reason why I'm posting these videos because mark these as records. These are records. All these videos I'm posting, they're for records to be set. It needs to be set spiritually. It needs to be set morally. It needs to be set ethically. Like that, the music industry, it's about all kind of genres, every culture, but it's about Justin. You cannot be a Haitian. You cannot be a Jamaican. You cannot be pretending to be a female Jamaican. You can't be pretending to be a Jamaican man. You can't be doing those things because you didn't come from that culture. Like there's people that if you grew up in a certain area and then you grew up around certain cultures that you could say the culture is an influence, but to take credit for another person's culture, Justin, you're actually it's a scam that you're trying to put out. The point is that you're in violation because you're trying to play off as if like you're an original person. You're trying to play off as if like, oh, I'm an original black Jew, or I'm an original Jamaican, or I'm original Haitian, or I'm an original person that came from the original country. And that's not true. It's not true. Even, when people come from other country, they'll say, I'm born native to a particular country, but I come from X, Y, and Z culture. You know, I grew up in a culture that was predominantly such and such people, and because I went to school around such and such people, or my friend was so and so and so that's where I got my influence from. But you're actually trying to create these really false records saying that you're an original person, and it's a complete lie. And then you're going in Hollywood trying to say that's who you are. That's not who you are. Literally, like, I know I'm not going crazy. Like, literally, I was watching the Super Bowl and I was like, yeah, Usher, you're wearing blue. It's awesome. Roller skate and everything. Right? And then they were showing the part where Haley and Justin were sitting in the bleachers, and he's wearing like a brown shirt, and then she dyed her hair back black. When you see all those things, it's questionable. They're not just doing something because, oh, let me just change up my style. No, they're trying to see like whoever they're trying to sacrifice as a human sacrifice. Everything's connected to the clothing they're trying to wear or how they style their hair. It's not them being creative or anything like that. It's them trying to be somebody, try to act a certain role, you know? But all I'm saying is that you're a scam artist, Justin. Yeah. You didn't come from those consciousness. Everything it stems from, like, literally it stems from your birth parents. Yes, whoever you're being raised from is an influence, but it actually comes from your birth parents. Because I've seen people that were raised from other people, but they still have their blood in them. You ever have that saying when your parents are like, "Man, how come you just said that? Man, you do the same things that your father did. You say the same things that your father did. You walk the same walk your father. You're just like your father. Even though your father's not around, you act the same way." It's those type of situations. You're not authentic, Justin. That's my point to make. And my point to make is that you're trying to play out my life, and that's fraudulent. You cannot just be stealing people's identity. Oh, well, I did witchcraft. That's scam. You're scamming. You didn't come from that consciousness. And no, it's not the only way to survive. That's where you're lying as well. It's not your only way of surviving. You're trying to be other cultures is not your way of surviving at all. It's not your way of surviving. And a lot of it is too repetitive too. That's another indication that you're scamming people because it's too repetitive. Yeah. All your negativity, it doesn't equate to positivity, Justin. That's why you're owing me. You're trying to leech off of people like me. That's a hazard. That's too fake. You're trying to take things and try and give it to other people. No, you cannot lie and say that you're my life. You can't say, oh, when it's time for someone to, when it's time for someone to go about family planning, when it's time for them to make a decision, who they chose to mate with, who they choose to have children with, that has nothing to do with you, Justin. You can't. If someone decides I'm going to start a family, you can't be sitting there staring at people and saying, "Yeah, I'm taking that idea." Oh, it's the fact that she just made a decision to start a family. Well, I'm going to take that idea now. Whatever came out of my womb, Justin, doesn't belong to you. That identity that came out of my womb, you didn't come from that. And that's on God. Straight. That's on God. You're trying to play God in my life? Trust me, God has to deal with that. God has to deal with all that type of disrespects that you've been trying to peddle on the computer. God has to deal with that. But I'm just trying to say the ideas that you're trying to play off on the internet as if it's coming from you, as if you're the original source, that is a complete lie. And you know that too. You know that. You know that within yourself. So you should come out and show the world the real truth. You're posting it online. I'm posting what I need to post online too, to show the truth that you're not who you say you are. You are lying about your identity. You're lying about who you say you are. And I have even further proof because it's that moment like when you're obviously you came from Canada, right? And then you came to California. Obviously you're hanging around black people and everything like that, right? And then you're sitting there watching black people and stuff. It's that moment when you call a person a nigger. Remember, it was at the beginning of his music career, Justin called black people nigger. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, why did that word even come out of your mouth?" The whole point was for you to insult a black person. You wanted to see a black person down, and you want to see yourself on top, and that's the reason why you blurted out that word nigger. I'm telling you one thing: if two black people say the word nigger, it has a different effect. But when a black person and a white person says the word nigger, the effects are completely different. It's not the same. And you're type of Justin, because you're unlearned. Like, you're the type of person that would pass that off as like, it's just a joke, or it's something funny. Saying the word nigger, it's something funny, but it's actually hate. What's rooted in it is a lot of deep-seated hatred. you know? And it's very offensive because if you call one person a nigger, you're pretty much generalizing everybody else around you that's supporting you to be a nigger. That's one thing that you don't realize, eh? So if you called me a nigger, if you call my children a nigger, if you call anybody, any black person that was associated with me, if you called anybody that I'm in my family a nigger, you generalized the whole family. If you called me as a black Jew a nigger, that's on God, Justin. You're truly unlearned because in the Bible there are actually two groups of black people. There were the Negroes, right? They're Ham and the Negroes. They're two groups of blacks. So, but at the end of the day, that's not your work. Yeah, those are situations that you shouldn't even be talking about because you're not black. You know, if you want to be the way how I see it, if you're either a part of that collective that's for black people and supportive of black people and supportive of black causes, or you're just a part of that hate trade that just hates black people. And I'm like I said earlier, like you can't be on a public platform and then saying I love yeah, well, black, 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 but then I hate that one black girl and her kids. You can't do that. You can't put out that energy and then expect positivity. You can expect God to honor those type of situations because it's hate and it's negative, and you don't win in those situations. So if your intention was, oh, you hate me and you want me broke and you want me homeless and you want me poor, but then you're stealing my identity, you're lying. You're trying to say that you're me. You went to a whole bunch of strangers and lied and made up a whole bunch of lies about someone you never even met. You made up a lie around people as if certain people are your problem, and it's not. It's not your problem. I'm so like grateful that Usher was able to like have his concert and like just be able to be celebrated for who he is as a person, his culture, where he came from. I just love seeing that. I love seeing people are being celebrated for their actual natural gifts, their natural talents and abilities. There was no racism in that. With the Super Bowl, there was nothing racist about it. That was just good old fun. That was a showcase of just pure talent. And that's the way the music industry should be about. It shouldn't be about what you're about, Justin. You shouldn't be trying to warmonger with people, with black people. You know that saying, trying to hide your hand and throw stones? No. You obviously you're a stone. You were a stone, but you even called it out for yourself. You're just a little tiny desk. You're a tiny little stone to build. You Justin, you're not the whole ship. As a matter of fact, you're just a bunker. That's all you are. You can't carry black people. You cannot. Because you didn't come from that history. You would never truly understand unless you actually came from that history. I've met Caucasian people that lived around black people and stuff. They don't act like you. They don't carry that type of ignorance because to actually witness the struggle and to actually have sympathy for it. I'm talking about real sympathy. You wouldn't be behaving that way. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to show you how much of it you're living through error. That's what you're doing. Every time you want to shape shift and try and be something that you're not, trying to live through falsity, you're living through error. That's what it is. And like I said, it's just too repetitive. You keep doing it over and over and over and over again. God's not in that. It's the fact that you wanted to take other black people's black history, you know? You didn't, like I said, I was saying in another post, you didn't come from, it was dealt with historically. It was a situation that was going on in Haiti. It was about Haitians and colonization with the Catholic Church and everything. The Haitians defeated all of that. But my point to make is that you didn't come from that type of culture. You didn't come from those type of wars. You didn't come from those type of stories. Haitians need respect where it's due. All the areas where the Haitian people won, they need respect as where it's due still. And you know, Justin, I have even more proof that you're not me because Haiti is more closer to Jamaica. The Haitians and the Cubans and the Mexicans, they're the closest to the Jamaicans. You weren't there. It's not your history, you know? And stop trying to like apologize and you come up with these like fake type of apologies, trying to act as if like, oh, certain people aren't fit for society. You know, that's not your judgment call, to be honest with you. And I tell you why, because you have severe mental illness. You're severely mentally ill. Like, there's a time when you reach a certain age and you achieve that type of maturity level within yourself, like, you don't have that consciousness. You still trying to play out, like, being like a young, immature, uneducated child, even though you reach your 30, you're almost 30 years old. There's a lot of things that you do is just a lot very dishonorable. There's no honor in it. But my point to make, it's actually February 14th is Valentine's Day today. You know what I mean? So you're not about love and peace. You're not about that. I'm talking about like to be a true, genuine person. You're not about that. You're not about that. It is you trying to interfere with black women. It's you trying to interfere with black women, trying to and their relationships and people who they're connected with and their children. It's you trying to put yourself in between it and trying to act as if like, there's always supposed to be a third party involved. I don't play sociopathy like that, Justin, because it's fake. And who are you? You don't have enough experience to say certain things that you wanted to carry about a black person. You don't even have enough experience. You don't even have enough experience being around a black person to even try and say that you wanted to serve a black person. But like I said, nobody sent you. That's all I have to say. These ideas, they just didn't come from you. They didn't come from you. And I'm telling you one thing, like, I highly respect Usher. You know what I mean? From when he first came out, even before Usher did collabs with Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys, she's Jamaican. She's my people. I highly respect Haitian people. I highly respect Justin Usher. So you trying to play out like you were here in California on some mission to get the Canadian message out and to get you wanted to put the Canadian system on display. You didn't even have authorization to talk about some of the things that you were talking about. And I'm not the system. I'm one individual. I'm one person. And on top of that, like I was saying in another post too, you weren't even a part of the system in Canada. So why are you talking about trying to expose what Canada was about when you weren't even about the system? You weren't about none of that. You didn't even have like any proper causes. Everything that you're doing is rooted in warmongering, trying to force these like really bad, really old actually, really, really old racism, deep-seated racism. It doesn't serve any relevancy here in 2024. And like understand something, like I'm in California, like even the people here in California, like they're done with it. It's something that they ignore because it's just like they went through like many decades of this crap. They're done with it. There's a time when they just acknowledge that, yeah, there's some people, that are around that don't like them, but they're not into what a lot of people are about. That's what it reached at this point. We're about our families. We're about celebrating good things, good accomplishments, good people, good motives, things that we were able to accomplish in the past that were positive. Like that's what we're about. I'm not about what you're about, Tristan. It's like he's been in the industry for what, over 10 years now. Like he's still trying to hold on to that stance, like how he was as a 10-year-old kid. Well into your 30s, you're still trying to act like a 10-year, like you like a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? Just trying to leech off what was. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's all dumb. But my point is that like people don't care about, it's about things that they want, and like people just don't care about a lot of things that Justin's about. Like a lot of people don't care about that anymore. Like you had your time to get that energy out, but at the end of the day, like everyone sees like it's the devil. Like everyone sees that that's just pure hatred. You know what I mean? Like you were already invested into Justin. Like just like get out of people's way now because you hate too much. Yeah, you're just like this old racist dragon trying to drag your way through it. I still have to be a racist. I still have to show you that I hate you. Let me just keep it on. Let me just keep doing it. Let me just keep repeating the spell word. Let me just keep doing it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What does it take for him to stop? That's not to do with me. That's between God. That's between him and God. You know what I mean? But the point is that I have every single right to hold my identity. That's something that Justin needs to understand. It reminds me of like, when they just came out with the Wish app? Like you could be in your city and go shopping or whatever, but all the people that were just broke, they're just wishing, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I had that. It's like, well, you can get the knockoff version of the original. That's what Justin is. You're the knockoff version of the original. You're that bag you would buy in like some flea market or something. You're not even secondhand, Justin. It went through the auction. But like I have issues that the fact that I was living in Canada and I was going through my black struggles. You know what I mean? And Justin was over here in California. But then it's like you're trying to play out that illusionary tale as if you're the actual person going through that black struggle that I was going through in Canada. In actuality, if Justin was in Canada at the time I was in Canada, he wouldn't even be going through the same struggles that I went through because he's not black. People would have treated him differently because he's white. Isn't that the whole expectation? That's what goes on around these places. It's stupid, but that's the reality of what goes on. Everybody knows that. But the point is that like People don't care about a lot of things that race people want, but it's the fact that Canada, it comes from a more of a evolved standpoint, you know. When I was there, at least, like it came from more of a evolved type of situation. Like black people were able to get their safe spaces. Black people were still able to get their point, their message across, their points to make in the workplace and all over the place. Like we still were able to, and there are a lot of people that respected that. There's a lot of people that they acknowledge, like, yeah, you're black. Yeah, we get it. Like, you're black, you came from a certain culture. Okay, yeah, share with us. Like, we're interested. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we want to hear. Like, we want to hear what kind of person you are. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, that struggle you went through. Oh my God. Like, yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll support it. Like, Justin, like, they do it here in the US too. But like in Canada, like the black people got supported. That's just that's what in early 2000s, like the black people got supported. You know what I mean? Yeah, everyone goes through racism, but I'm talking about like people acknowledged it. You know, like the Bank of Montreal. Like you go there and they have like, oh my God, the Bank of Montreal has like the best program. It was more geared to where like black youth, but it's so uplifting. It opened up a lot of opportunities for the black youth to be in the banking system, and like I love it. To be honest with you, I like it. I like seeing black guys wearing like blue suits and everything, walking around looking all sharp, and that's just me. You know what I mean? But I'm just I'm just saying that like we still were able to get our respect. If it was a respectful thing, God would honor it. But you trying to sugarcoat and trying to like create all these illusions as if like, oh, all black people are bad, and all we do is get up in the morning and do bad things and say and live bad lives and everything. Come on, Justin, you know for a fact that's not how I am. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in that old fashioned home, where your mom's walking around with the belt all over the house. Like there was belts in the couches and there was belts in every corner of the house because it was all about discipline. That's the type of house I came from. I didn't know what drugs was until I went to high school. I didn't know what sex was until, well, I knew what sex was in middle school. When you come around some other kids, but in my house, I didn't know what those things were because I didn't grow up in that environment. But it's the fact that you grew up, obviously you weren't raised properly, and you're trying to grow up as a mature adult, and you just like you put on a good front, like you actually changed, but you actually didn't. Like you're just a deep-seated, hateful, racist narcissist, and that's pretty shameful. But who cares? Like, listen to me, Justin. Listen. I don't care if that's how you are. Just don't bring that around me. That's something I don't. That type of energy, I don't want that in my vicinity because I don't live my life like that. That's how you are. I don't want that in my energy. I don't want that. I don't want you trying to attach yourself to me to play that up like you're spying. Oh, I'm that narcissist. Like everything that you do was supposed to be about my face. Like that's where I just draw the line with you. Yeah, that's like really harassing situations, don't you think? Like, Justin, like you used to be a 5-year-old, right? You used to be a 5-year-old child. Don't you think like a kid deserves to just live his life and not have that type of like bad attachment that you're trying to play out? Don't you think a child deserves, just to be a child? Those are godly actions. Respecting a young child, that's God. The fact that you don't respect a kid, You're the devil. And the fact that you're around a whole bunch of grown adults, obviously you're around a whole bunch of adults that are older than you, and you want respect from them because you're younger than them, but then you don't respect the generations younger than you, huh? You're not a leader. You're not. You're clearly not. You're not a part of that, like, high vibrational federation. You're not a part of that. Like a real person would respect, like, oh my god, like, that's your son. Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh my goodness, like a real leader protects, Justin. A true leader only exposes enemies, Justin. I'm talking about like true deep-seated enemies. People who truly hate people. Like, I've ignored a lot of this for a long time, but it's a moment when you decided to, like, tap into things that you just had no business. Oh Lord, Justin. Some of the things that you were talking about, even God would come down from heaven and slap you in your face. God would do that. Yeah, but my point is, your intentions aren't pure. Yeah, you don't have pure intentions when it comes to me and my life. You just, like, you made up a whole bunch of illusionary fictional stories as if I was connected to you in certain ways, and it's not true. Oh, because you did what? A binding spell? It's not true. That's a spell. That's not truth. I'm telling you, I don't do these things to people. I don't go to practitioners with this type of garbage because I don't need it. I don't need it. Something is something's wrong with those type of people that do those things. Yeah. And I see the reason why they do it, because they're not actually, like, I see a lot of tarot readers they talk about the difference between a divine feminine and a karmic people. They're not actually a part of, like, the system, you know. But I mean, you know what, Justin, I'm not even going to say much, because if you were truly under God's faith, then God would have taken up your cause, like, for what it is, like, face value. God would have taken it up if you were a true, genuine person, but you're not. I've seen a lot of people. I've been to a lot of churches, and I've seen some people in the church. God really worked true miracles for them because they were able to release old ancestral patterning coming from their parents and stuff. They're able to release those sins and really take upon God. And God delivered a lot of people. God rescued a lot of people who weren't even a part of God. But it's the fact that they took that respect for Him. That's where you missed the mark, Justin. You don't have any respect for the Most High. And I already know, like, you're an outsider. Like, you see how Justin went to Toronto, and then he was performing at Drake's house when he was wearing that NHL shirt. Those were, like, situations that could have been, you know. That's the whole point of it. It's not actual his history. Drake is like Arabic. He has a more of an Arabic Jew. Justin's more like a Russian Turkic Jew. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Drake, like, his mom's white and his dad's black, but Drake his dad's actually American. Justin, like, my dad's American. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the way how he trying to play off like as if he has certain identity. He doesn't. Even like the Jewish sect that I came from, you know, we were separatists. That's where we were. We were separatists. But and when it comes to that situation, like it was only connected with only certain people that God ordained. When it came to that type of Judaism, were able to actually come around us. Yeah, it's only people that majority of them it was like mostly the Jamaican, the Ethiopian, and German people are the ones who married through intermarriage that respected you know the plight of the Marano Jews. Really, they were the ones that used to be around us. God is the one that ordained that type of worship. Justin, you weren't there. You weren't there. Even the church I came from, he wasn't a part of it. It wasn't. It's pretty sad, like, that they took it to these lengths, because, like, where we came from, it was a good story. Yeah. I am a peculiar, when you go to church and you hear the preacher saying, oh, you're a peculiar person, you're different. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I am different, you know. But it's sad? Like, I think it's pretty low when people call people, it's 2024, like, people trying to still call people niggers. I think, like, anyone who does that, you're just the lowest common denominator. If anything, that's all they had. That's all they had, right? No, you didn't have intellect, Justin. You didn't have it. No, no. You didn't take that time. Your parents weren't disciplined enough. My house was very disciplined. It was God. I came from a very disciplined house. You understand me? But it's the fact that you were able to grow up here in California, and California is a very is the foundations is built on education. Pretty much everything's here. But I'm just saying, like, you could have taken the time to really focus on your part of God's kingdom, or what God really truly had for you, the messages that God had for you to send out to the world. But you totally missed the mark when it came to that. You just didn't want to be green. You wanted to be something new. Eh? Justin, you thought you were Queen Mary. He thought that was he thought he was a whole German ship. That's what he thought. Justin, like, if you actually see a ship, you ever see a real ship, like the real American ships that came from Germany? If you look at the ship, the bottom of the ship is black, right? And then in the middle of the ship, towards the top, the ship was painted white. But then there's a steeple right at the top. And the top of the steeple, it was red and black. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and they actually had bunkers and everything around it. The bunkers were black, Justin. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The point is that, like, your racism is just, like, really stupid. Like, who cares? Like, we're all here. We're all here. Look at California. Like, look how many people have been here in California for decades. Black people have been here for a very, very, very long time, Justin. Eh? Filipino people, German people, Portuguese people, African people, Hawaiian people, Mexican, Hispanic people. We've been here for a long time. It's like we used to have a saying back in the day, like, if somebody offended you, then some people, they have that type of argument, like, I kind of don't like those kind of people because, like, they do so and so and so and so and so. But for a fact, it's like, okay, come on, it was just like one or two of those people that hurt you. or did something offensive to you. But when you look at Justin's situation, like, nobody offended him. Nobody did. So, okay, there are black people in Canada. So, because black people are in Canada, you thought like the black people in Canada were supposed to serve you? Is that what you thought, Justin? Who told you that? Where's your credentials? How? Explain that situation, because majority of the black people in Canada, they came from the islands, right? So, and they came from most of the islands that were under the British monarchy. Most of those islands were already monarchies before they reached Canada, meaning that most of those black people were under the Queen's authority before they even reached up north, Justin. So what are you talking about? Stop making up these illusionary tales about people with your illusionary expectations that we don't know. We have no recollection of what you're talking about. The only truth that I know when it comes to, like, some Jewish communities, there were a lot of orphans back in the day, because of war and famine and old age, and a lot of people used to die on the job and all those things. There used to be I remember there used to be the good kinded Jewish people that used to sponsor black people, and they used to work as domestics, and they used to pay them. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of them. They came from agencies and stuff, but they used to get paid. There's no free labor or anything. Or let's say you were working on the job, and let's say it wasn't a job that wanted to include diversity, because Canada does that a lot on the job, a lot of office jobs and stuff like that. It's like because of the cultural mix of the people. Let's say if there was like four different groups of people living in an area, then they have to have four different kinds of people working in that workplace to represent what's in the community. So that was like those type of diversity movements and stuff like that. It was to serve a purpose, but it was to serve a purpose that those companies weren't racist. There's good and bad out of every culture, so don't generalize and say all black people are bad, because come on, that's ignorance. Everybody knows that's not true. My point is, Justin, that you're very unlearned, very, very unlearned, and you don't have my identity. And you're not about love and peace. You put out too much hatred, trying to copy people, trying to be people, trying to take my ideas and say that it's yours. If someone plans to have a child, you can't lie and say, oh, she planned to have a baby. Oh, now I can pretend to be that baby. Like, you're crazy. Wow, what? Why would you put that in your head? That's crazy thinking. That's not even consciousness. That's like mental illness. That's somebody who's psychotic. Well, I'm mad that, you know, she started a family. Let me tell you something, Justin. That's none of your business. That's none of your business at all. You getting mad over someone started. What the hell is that? That's God's business. That has to do with you. Hey? But like I said, like Haitian people, like a lot of them, they're part of like French Creole Federation. In actuality, Haitian people are actually very peaceful. They will war with you if you're in the wrong, but they preach peace. They're under the Catholics. They preach a lot of peace. They preach marriage. They preach good things. And that's something that you're not a part of, Justin. And it makes sense. That's why you didn't sing at the Super Bowl. That's why. You know what I mean? And you know what's like messed up? It's like people do all these wicked things to people and they expect people not to call them out. That's Justin. You're not that supreme. It's an illusion that you put out. You put out that illusion as if you're high vibes. You're not supreme. Okay, you're not superior over me. That's the illusion. Okay? I walk with giants, Justin. I know you're jealous of that too. You're jealous of that. Certain roles that God put out for me to accomplish in this life. You're just mad because God didn't choose you to fulfill those roles. But everything comes with DNA, and you should know that. Life wouldn't function without the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. Huh? Where are your origins? Have you even ever watched an episode of MASH? No, you haven't. Have you ever watched an episode of Hawaii Five-O? No, you haven't. Ridiculous. And then it's like you want to play like you're a Black Widow. How? You're not even a female. Did you experience loss in your life? No, you haven't. Your parents, your mother, and your father are still alive. You're not an orphaned adult. You didn't go through the hardships that we went through. You didn't have people like you trying to attack us for our gifts. That's Black history. You know that, right? You know how much people here in California alone, Justin, their ancestors came through these really treacherous slave stories out of Black history. You know, it was the best story I heard. I read online. There was a city. They found like the actual slave ship in the actual river. I never forget the last name of that family. It was the Lewis family. They found the slave ship in the river in that town. That's some serious history that they were trying to hide. Can you imagine? And you're just posting online as if like that's your life. Quit the slavery. You have your own life. You have your own. That's my life. It's my own right to exist and to live as a human being. Respect my humanities. Respect where I came from. Respect my religion. Respect it. And if you don't respect it, don't talk about it. Stay away from it. Like, okay, when you go grocery shopping, and then when you go grocery shopping, everyone will walk through that aisle. Some people pick up uh, chicken. Some people pick up beef. Some people pick up pork. Some people pick up turkey. Some people pick up chitlins. Some people, everybody has their preference on what they like from what they don't like. But it's you looking over my shoulder all the time and saying, oh, what is that Black person like? That girl, that Black girl there. What is she like? Oh, that's what she like? Okay, I'm gonna eat it too. Like, you're pathetic. That does not make the world go round. You know what's the best thing? Like, to be able to like travel and like experience other people's cultures and try the different foods and everything. Like, to me, that's respect. That's what makes the world go around. You don't need to copy anybody. Man, I remember growing up, I used to have like Muslim friends. I used to have friends that came from. I had this friend. She was from Iran. I never forget her name. Her name was Telly. Oh my God, she was so pretty. But yeah, like I remember I met her dad and her mom and everything. Like it was so. That's the best. I mean, they have it here in America too. But like the best thing is when you meet different cultures and stuff. Like and you tell him about your culture, like, yeah, I'm Jamaican, da 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 da. And then he's like, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Afghanistan. Like I used to go to all their friends' house. I used to eat their parents' food. I used to sleep over at their house. And my mom allowed it. I was allowed to stay at Muslim people's house because, they were like the safest. The Muslim people like we grew up with, like they didn't hate us. Like they actually liked black people. Like if I went to a Muslim, be like, "Oh, I'm Jewish," they'd be like, "Well, it's okay. We like you. Like you're nice. Like you're nice to our children, and you can walk to school with us and everything. You can come to our house anytime." I used to go to their birthdays and everything. Oh no, it's Justin in the corner. Look at that black girl. Look at her and her kids. I hate her so much. I need to attack her all the time. Why? Who told you? Who told you to act that way? And like you're actually acting as if like people are doing something to you when nobody's doing anything to you. That's the sad part. But the thing is, like, Justin, like, come on, be real with people. Like, if you hate black people, like, you don't come to California out of all places if you hate black people. Oh, thank you. You're so nice. Oh, she gave me a Sprite. Hmm? You don't come around black people if you hate them. Oh, it's chips too. Thank you. I appreciate you. See? Hmm? She just gave me chips and a soda. Trying to be nice to me, Justin. Who are you? You're just you diabolical narcissist that just hates my stinking guts. Because he doesn't really believe in God. Like, you really come off as an atheist. Like, I remember they used to have, like, a whole bunch of atheists in Canada. And people used to get mad at first. But then after a while, people respected them. Because once they realize that it takes you knowing God for you even to say you don't believe in him, right? So after a while, we're like, oh, okay, you're an atheist, whatever. But it doesn't mean that we didn't hate them. We didn't hate atheists. That's just the stance that they chose to live by, But the thing is, like, well, I'm just using examples of the atheists that were in Canada. They used to say all those things, but they still used to share with people. They still used to give. They still used to be kind and nice to people. So they still ran on some good principles, you know? But you is just like, you made sure I have to be this black girl's op. Like, you made sure, huh? Justin, you need to go do your taxes for real. And pay me back everything that you stole. Eh? When they ask you what's your identity on your taxes, Justin, put I stole from the black girl. Or put stolen identity when you do your taxes, okay? It's that simple. You're trying to market yourself while drinking chai tea. That's some good soda. That's some good Sprite, Justin. SPRITE. SP. It should be like SP dash RITE. That should be on the Sprite can. Just open up my bag of chips here. Because, I like chips, Justin. I'm just saying, you need to give me some chips. Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm like, Justin, like, when I was, like, for the past couple of days, I was watching Justin, like, he's really trying to play off, like, he's the son of Jack. He's trying to act as if, like, he's that Jack in the Box, right? I think you're lying. Justin, Jack in the Box, it doesn't exist in Canada. It only exists in the United States of America. In Canada, like, the jacks are actually considered as the jack of all trades. I'm just saying. Like, the jacks in Canada, like, they know how to do everything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The point is, like, okay, Justin, you always said you obviously said a whole bunch of BS around those people, right? Make up a whole bunch of like lies saying I'm a certain way, right? But like, I'm very aware of my own self. I'm very aware of who I am, you know? So I can no longer identify with that fictitious character that you've been playing out online as. Well, you can't identify yourself as being me, but that identity that you posted online of trying to exploit something, like, I'm not a Sarah Barton. I had to use that analogy because, it is Black History Month. How they, what they did to Sarah Barton, how they exploited her body online, you know? Justin, like, you don't have a booty. Like, do you even have melanin? No. Are you dark skinned? No, you're not chocolate. You're not chocolate. And you don't have a booty. You don't even have my accent. I have a very peculiar accent, and I'll tell you why. It's because, like, I grew up in the Canadian system, so it's Canadian English. Yes, we do learn Americanized English, but it's actually Canadian British English, right? With Jamaican undertones. That's just what it is. Like, you didn't even grow up in that, And because, like, I grew up around a lot of white people, like, people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, you sound whitewashed," but then you sound Jamaican. But then you sound like you're English, like how you speak. It's a little different. I'm like, it's called Canadian British English. Like, how we pronounce, well, it's how we spell there. I always fight online with people, but, because I'm in America now, I actually use the Americanized version of there, you know. But there's a lot of words that it has to do with communications, right? The way how a teenager in Canada would communicate would obviously be different from how a teenager communicates here in the U.S. Justin, like, the Canadian U.S. school systems, like, they're completely different, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, it's just all about you trying to be fake, you know? I need some dip for these chips, Justin. Because I'm just feeling exasperated right now. I'm feeling very exasperated. Actually, I want to go back to the grocery store and get some more chips. You know what? Like, Justin, like Haitian people are like Creole people, right? And Creole people, they speak more of well, you have the English speaking ones, and then you have French speaking ones, but most of their French is like an African version of French. There's a different dialects of French, right? Well, I'm just trying to say, like, you didn't come from that type of household. You don't speak Francophone, and you don't even speak Creole French. Even Parisian French is different from Creole French. You didn't come from that. These chips are so good. I'm just feeling exasperated right now. The point is, like, I need to get this energy out. That story of Ruth and Boaz in the Bible and Esther? Like, Justin, come on, you didn't come from that. Some black women are living Esthers. Some black women are living Ruths. Honest to God, I'm done with Boaz. Straight. I'm done with that. My Boaz is like racist because he's white, and then he's mad because, well, okay, my Boaz, he's like a white Mexican guy, but then like he's mad because his Eve was like black. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just feel exasperated because like I don't want you to be like oppressing me out of jealousy, you know? I remember in Canada there used to be a whole bunch of like Italian people that used to come. They used to come from Italy, but you know, like they're from the third world, you know? It took many, many years for them to get used to black people. But it started in high school when like they send their kids to school, and when they send their kids to school and their parents like, I don't care, daddy, I love him. When they bring the black kid home, and before you know it, the daughter's like, oh, I'm pregnant, oh, I'm getting married. There's a time like some of those Italian and Portuguese and stuff, their parents just had to get used to it. Or the time when the black chick comes home with the Indian guy or the Asian guy, oh, that's my husband, I love him. Justin, like, you're too ignorant to like humble yourself to just respect that people make their own decisions, you know, because they want to. But when it's rooted in love, then they win, you know. But the fact that you want me to lose life because you just hate the fact that like black women, there's actually black women that they were supposed to be single because we have certain jobs to do. There's a time when a black woman is supposed to be married, and there's a time when a black woman is not supposed to be married, and God is the one who ordained that. But like I said, you didn't come from black history, so you wouldn't understand those things, and that's why you hate on me. Let me break down some knowledge, Justin. They're called concubines. Yeah. If you do the Bible, you know about, you know, David. David had a whole bunch of concubines. You know, the story with Solomon and Bathsheba. He had concubines too. But, you know, the point is that you didn't come from those bloodlines, so it doesn't have anything to do with you. Everything that was good, that came out of the Bible, came out of love, you know? Yeah. There was either love or God's purpose. Everything else, garbage. Well, I'm feeling exasperated right now, so I'm gonna go and eat my cereal, my almond milk, and just chill and not have to worry about you, Justin, because, you know, you're all constructs. So you are. It's not even about you, it's about the music industry. It's about the music industry. That's what it's about. It's not about you.